Hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur. Today we'll be discussing the Belgian Grand Prix, which happened a while back, but I'm only just catching up. But let's get into it. We're going to try and do a speed run of it, so let's go. So to start off, we'll talk about the qualifying session for Formula 3, where in 30th place was Escotto, in 29th was McLaughlin, in 28th was Shin, in 27th was Deligny, in 26th is Barrichello, in 25th is Lay, in 24th is Lacorte, in 23rd is De Palo, in 22nd is Del Pino, in 21st is Garfias, in 20th is G, in 19th is Wharton, in 18th is Bakti, in 17th is David, in 16th is Justy, in 15th is Guadish, in 14th is Sharp, in 13th is Ho, in 12th is Nakamura, in 11th is Kato, in 10th is Niel, in 9th is Ugachukwu, in 8th is Badua, and in 7th is Claro, in 6th is Kolnagi, in 5th is Rivera, in 4th is Stromstead, in 3rd is Yamakoshi, in 2nd is Tappinen, and in 1st is Slater. And in this case, as we know, the top 12 get reversed for the first race, the sprint race. So in 12th position was Slater, in 11th is Tappinen, in 10th is Yamakoshi, in 9th is Stromstead, in 8th is Rivera, in 7th is Kolnagi, in 6th is Claro, in 5th is Badua, in 4th is Ugachukwu, in 3rd is Niel, in 2nd is Kato, and in 1st is Nakamura. And now let's talk about the first race. In 30th position was Slater, as he did not finish the race and dropped 18 positions. So in terms of the first race, in 30th position with a DNF was Slater, and so was Escotto and McLaughlin. In 29th was Ugachukwu, in 28th was Yamakoshi. In terms of the first race, in last position was Escotto, then McLaughlin, and then in 28th position was Shin, in 27th was Deligny, in 26th was G, in 25th was Del Pino, in 24th is Garfias, in 23rd is Barrichello, in 22nd was Wharton, in 21st is Bakti, in 20th is Lay, in 19th is Lacorte, in 18th is De Palo, in 17th is Sharp, in 16th is David, in 15th is Justy, in 14th is Stromstead, in 13th is Guadish, in 12th is Ho, in 11th is Slater, in 10th is Ugachukwu, in 9th is Tappinen, in 8th is Niel, in 7th is Yamakoshi, in 6th is Rivera, in 5th is Kato, in 4th is Nakamura, in 3rd is Kolnagi, in 2nd is Claro, and in 1st is Badua. That's the first race. In the second race, in 30th position was Bakti, who did not start the race. In 29th was David, who did not finish the race. In 28th was De Palo, who did not finish the race. And in 27th was Barrichello, who did not finish the race. Then in 26th is Escotto. In 25th is Deligny. In 24th is Ho. In 23rd is Lay. In 22nd is Garfias, in 21st is G, in 20th is Ugachukwu, in 19th is Shin, in 18th is Lacorte, in 17th is Wharton, in 16th is Sharp, in 15th is Niel, in 14th is Badua, in 13th is McLaughlin, in 12th is Claro, in 11th is Del Pino, in 10th is Stromstead, in 9th is Justy, in 8th is Nakamura, in 7th is Tappinen, in 6th is Kato, in 5th is Guadish, in 4th is Kolnagi, in 3rd is Slater, in 2nd is Yamakoshi, and in 1st, winning the race, is Rivera. So where does that lead the leaderboard? So from the top to the bottom, Ugachukwu is leading with 104, then Slater 1 point behind on 103, then Niel on 65, Stromstead on 59, Rivera on 56, Guadish on 54, Yamakoshi on 54, Badua on 50, Del Pino on 49, Claro on 48, Kato on 45, Nakamura on 39, Deligny on 28, Tappinen on 28, G on 20, Kolnagi on 20, Wharton on 19, Justy on 17, Sharp on 17, David on 15, Lay on 11, De Palo on 7, Benavides on 6, Lacorte on 2, McLaughlin on 2, Garfias on 1, Ho on 0, Bakti on 0, Barrichello on 0, Hosenroder on 0, Shin on 0, and Escotto on 0. And where does that lead the team champions? Where does that lead the team championship? In first is Campos with 225, in second is Trident with 169, in third is Van Amersfoort on 131, in fourth is ART on 110, in fifth is Rodin on 98, in sixth is MP Motorsport on 65, in seventh is High Tech on 41, in eighth is Prema on 37, in ninth is Dams on 22, and in 10th is AIX on 21. And now let's go into Formula 2, where in the qualifying session, 22nd position was Miata, in 21st was Boyer, in 20th is Shields, in 19th is Van Hoopen, in 18th is Herta, in 17th is Mini, in 16th is Villagomez, in 15th is Fittipaldi, in 14th is Goethe, in 13th is Maney, in 12th is Verone, in 11th is Montoya, in 10th is Leon, in 9th is Stenshorn, in 8th is Belinsky, in 7th is Dirksen, in 6th is Beganovic, in 5th is Bennett, in 4th is Solov, in 3rd is Dunn, in 2nd is Indrafufzak, and in 1st is Kamara. And how does that lead the sprint grid? Well, in 22nd through to 11th, everything stays the same, but in 10th is Kamara, in 9th is Indrafufzak, in 8th is Dunn, in 7th is Solov, in 6th is Bennett, in 5th is Beganovic, in 4th is Dirksen, in 3rd is Belinsky, in 2nd is Stenshorn, and in 1st is Leon. And how did that race pan out? In 22nd was Shields, in 22nd was Shields, in 21st was Leon, in 20th was Mini, and in 19th was Bennett. All of those did not finish the race. In 18th was Verone, in 17th was Miata, in 16th was Villagomez, in 15th was Maney, in 14th was Fittipaldi, in 13th was Herta, in 12th was Indrafufzak, in 11th was Boyer, in 10th was Van Hoopen, in 9th was Montoya, in 8th was Goethe, in 7th was Belinsky, in 6th was Kamara, in 5th was Dunn, in 4th was Solov, in 3rd was Beganovic, in 2nd was Stenshorn, and in 1st was Dirksen. And now in terms of the race, there was a bit of drama because Leon was disqualified. He did very well to start off with, but he was disqualified due to a behavioural issue of one of his guests. They put on a pair of headphones with a microphone, which are specifically for the team, and there's a certain amount allocated to specific people. When this guest was told not to do that, they refused, and as a result, Leon was disqualified. So he ended up 22nd technically. In 21st was Goethe, who did not finish the race. In 20th was Beganovic, who did not finish the race. In 19th was Van Hoopen, who did not finish the race. In 18th was Fittipaldi, who did not finish the race. In 17th was Belinsky, who also did not finish the race. In 16th is Maney. In 15th is Bennett. In 14th was Dirksen. In 13th was Verone. In 12th is Shields. In 11th is Montoya. In 10th is Stenshorn. In 9th is Boyer. In 8th is Miata. In 7th is Herta. In 6th is Villagomez. In 5th is Mini, in 4th is Dunn, in 3rd is Solov, in 2nd is Indrafufzak, and in 1st is Kamara. Where does that lead the leaderboard? Well, in first position, as has been for a while, is Solov with 161. Then in second is Mini with 134. Then Kamara on 125. Dunn with 108. Leon with 69. Maney with 63. Beganovic with 63. Stenshorn on 58. Van Hoopen on 47. Indrafufzak on 46. Villagomez with 38. Dirksen with 36. Miata with 34. Goethe with 29. Montoya with 28. Herta with 26, Belinsky with 24, Bennett with 17, Verone with 14, Boyer with 12, Fittipaldi with 10, and Shields with 10. And where does that leave the teams? In first is Campos with 230, in second is Rodin with 166, in third is MP Motorsport with 163, in fourth is Invicta with 161, in fifth is ART GP with 109, in sixth is Dams Lucas Oil with 87, in seventh is Trident with 64, in eighth is High Tech with 60, in ninth is Van Amersfoort Racing on 52, in 10th is Prema Racing on 40, and in 11th is AIX with 20. And now let's talk about Formula 1. In terms of qualifying, in 22nd was Stroll, in 21st was Alonso, in 20th was Perez, in 19th was Bottas, in 18th was Ocon, in 17th was Albon, in 16th was Behrman, in 15th was Sainz, in 14th was Hulkenberg, in 13th was Colapinto, in 12th was Gasly, in 11th was Lawson, in 10th was Hadjar, in 9th was Bortoletto, in 8th was Lindblad, in 7th was Piastri, in 6th was Hamilton, in 5th was Leclerc, in 4th was Russell, in 3rd was Norris, in 2nd was Verstappen, and in 1st was Antonelli. However, Norris at the time had a 10-place grid penalty as a result of him having an engine change outside of his allocated amount due to how many engine failures he has had so far this year. So he actually started 13th and Hadjar started 21st because he also had a 20-place grid penalty due to the amount of change. He also had a change in so many change parts that he had to start in 21st. I can't remember how many places he had to drop down, but he started 21st. So the actual starting grid was in 22nd was Alonso, in 21st was Hadjar, in 20th was Stroll, in 19th was Sainz, in 18th was Perez, in 17th was Bottas, in 16th was Ocon, in 15th was Albon, in 14th was Behrman, in 13th was Norris, in 12th was Hülkenberg, in 11th was Colapinto, in 10th was Gasly, in 9th was Lawson, in 8th was Bortoleto, in 7th is Lindblad, in 6th is Piastri, in 5th is Hamilton, in 4th is Leclerc, in 3rd was Russell, in 2nd Verstappen, and in 1st was Antonelli. And how did that race go? In 22nd was Russell, who did not finish the race. He barely started it. It was a racing incident in everyone but the steward's eyes with Hamilton, so he did not get very far with that one. In 21st was Perez because the parts on the Cadillac are quite unreliable still, but it is their first year, so we forgive. In 20th is Stroll, who did not finish the race. In 19th is Alonso. He was 2 laps behind. In 18th was Bottas, who was 1 lap behind. In 17th was Ocon. In 16th was Sainz. In 15th was Albon. In 14th was Behrman. In 13th was Hülkenberg. In 12th was Lawson. In 11th was Gasly. In 10th was Colapinto. In 9th was Lindblad. In 8th was Bortoleto. In 7th was Norris. In 6th was Hadjar. In 5th was Piastri, in 4th was Hamilton, in 3rd was Verstappen, in 2nd was Leclerc, and in 1st was Antonelli. And where does that lead the leaderboard so far? So still leading, unsurprisingly, is Antonelli on 204, followed by Hamilton on 159, then Russell on 154, Leclerc on 126, Norris on 103, Piastri on 92, Verstappen on 91, Hadjar on 60, Gasly on 42, Lawson on 39, Lindblad on 22, Colapinto on 19, Behrman on 18, Bortoleto on 10, Sainz on 6, Albon on 5, then Ocon on 3, Alonso on 1, Hülkenberg on 0, Bottas on 0, Perez on 0, and Stroll on 0. And where does that lead the teams? Well, Mercedes are still leading with 358, then Ferrari on 285, McLaren on 195, Red Bull on 151, Alpine on 61, Racing Bulls on 61, Haas on 21, Williams on 11, Audi on 10, Aston Martin on 1, and Cadillac still on 0. The fastest lap was given to Lando Norris with 1 minute 48 and 890, remembering that this track is 7 kilometers long. The driver of the day was Charles Leclerc. He won that with 17.7% of the vote. The fastest pit stop went to Ferrari for 2.30 seconds, and the pole award was given to Kimi with the fastest lap during qualifying of 1 minute 44 seconds and 361. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. If you may be watching, sorry that this does not have a video, but sometimes we have to do what we have to do. Thank you so much for listening. Please check out my lovely colleagues on the Be the Change Media Network as I work through catching up yet again. What a surprise. And I will see you next time where we'll be discussing the Budapest Grand Prix in this catch up. So have a lovely time. Before then, goodbye.